Wow. Cradle have actually done it. They've actually redeemed themselves. That is good. Oh, hey guys, Richard Metal Fan here. Today we talk Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder. Now, this album, wow. After when I after listening to Thornography, pretty much their weakest their that worst album they've done I think, or so far their only album they've done in their career. I wasn't expecting to hear God's thinking that Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder would follow on the same roots. And I decided, like with any other albums I listened to, I decided to approach this with an open mind. And when I did, I was like, wow, they've actually managed to redeem themselves with this album. And for that, I give them a lot of props to this. This album I was really liked a lot. Uh, and obviously this is Cradle Filth's first, I think, concept album since, I believe, Damnation in a Day. So been 5 years between that, since it came out in like 2008. And the concept of this album is based upon a character in 15th century in France named Gilles de Rais. And yep, this basically sort of flows through like a story, basically. And this is pretty much only Cradle of Filth's first album was with only 4 members recording on this album. Danny Filth, Paul Allender, got the bass player's name, and I think their current drummer Martin Scopa, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, this album basically is just pretty much a bit of a redeeming album from them, and I was really impressed by this. I wasn't expecting to like it, but I actually do like it. But yeah, without further ado, let's break this down track by track. Now the album opens up with In Grandeur and Frankincense Development Stirs. It starts off with a low keyboard intro, which is kind of similar, like all of Cradle of Filth songs, most of them. Which don't have a problem with. It's a great opener though. Then we go into Shat Out of Hell, which starts off with a freaking blast beat, and I thought that was pretty much going to be done after Thornography. And I really like the progression on this song. And the riffs throughout the song have a very good, consistent flow. And it just makes you want to freaking headbang. It's pretty much one of my favorite songs off this album. I really like that a lot. And then we get to The Death of Love, which is pretty much the only slower song on this album. And it's supposed to be about Gil's reactions to Joan's death. It's alright. Then we get to the 13th Caesar, which has a bit of a thrashy type vibe to it, which kind of has very good triplets throughout the main rest of the song. Pretty much got me hooked onto it, and the song itself starts off with a narration from the great Doug Bradley and a great keyboard intro. But I don't know why almost every song on this album has to have a keyboard intro, but hey, I'm not complaining. I just feel like this song is pretty good. I love this song a lot. Then we get to Tiffages, which is once again another interlude, and this is exceptionally great because I like the keyboard line in that song. And it sort of flows into the next track, Kingdom, which the arrangement for that song is pretty sick. I couldn't believe this is a good of a song. It has heavy riffs, some sick keyboard parts, and even the progressive sounding drums at some crucial points. And the song itself kind of sounds something I would hear from like Midian meets Damnation in a Day. One of the best songs on this album. Then we get to Sweetest Militia. So this might be the best song on this album. It has a very dark kind of vibe to it, and everything is pretty much tinged with an epic sound throughout, and it seems like you can feel like Gil is conjuring Lucifer himself. Then we get to Honey and Sulphur, which is actually the first single on this album. Really love the choir chants throughout the song to complement sort of Danny's kind of growls, and I really love how the instruments interact with each other throughout the whole song. Yep, it's a pretty good song composition, if I do say so myself. Then we get to Midnight Shadows Crawl to Darken Council with Life. One of the longer songs on this album. It's a very brutal masterpiece. And the keyboard lines on that song kind of remind me of something from like Bittersweet Hates, and there's a very beautiful interlude into the middle. Well, it kind of reminds me a little bit from their other song, Tearing the Veil from Grace. I thought that's a really good song. Oh, Darkness Incarnate. This song itself sounds pretty twisted and dark, and it has a little bit of an intro that kind of went a little bit too long. But when it picks up, though, it's kind of worth the wait. Like the arrangements have kind of like a dark feel to them, and it's just some really, really great arrangement for that song. then we get to the 10 Leagues Beneath Contempt. Now, honestly, I feel like they should have switched Darkness Incarnate with 10 Leagues for 10 Leagues Beneath should be track 10. Get it? Track 10, 10 Leagues. That's just me. But the song itself, it's not bad. It's just mainly has a brooding pace similar to Thank God for the Suffering. It's kind of like a builder for like the final push of the album. And yeah, but just a very modern tempo. It's really good. And then we get to the title track, Godspeed, on the Devil's Thunder, which is pretty much kind of like the last kick in the face, which should be. It's just kind of like a pretty much an all-out thing, sort of like a kind of like builds it all up. And it's just like how the instruments play very well together with each other. There, and it's just a very, very great all-out to sort of end this album, and I really enjoyed that song. One of my favorite songs on this album. And then the album opens up with the song Corpse Flower, which basically it's just a little something to give you extra. And I think it's a pretty good song. Now, overall, Godspeed on a Devil's Thunder is a really good album. It's a great way to redeem themselves after what they put out with the Thornography. And yeah, this is a pretty surprising album. I was not expecting to like it, and I actually do like it. And if I were to give this album a score, I'd probably give this like probably a 9 out of 10. It's really pretty good. I was quite surprised, actually. So yep, that's my review of Godspeed on the Devil's Thunder, guys. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next review. Keep it metal.